recapitalize a company by an Islamic infrastructure fund. That was done successfully again in the last quarter. It was structured on a Sharia-compliant basis because the infrastructure fund itself is an Islamic fund, and it could only invest in assets that were acquired through Sharia-compliant means of financing. The second transaction, as I touched upon earlier, was the Aston Martin acquisition. That was again essentially an LBO transaction. The third transaction is the acquisition of Centurion Energy, which was a Canadian-listed oil and gas company by a client of ours in the United Arab Emirates. Citi financed that acquisition initially through a $470 million bridge, and then we did a refinancing of that bridge through a sukuk issue, which was which was convertible into shares of Dana Gas. So that was again a leveraged deal in the conventional sense that it had a high component of non-equity based financing.
Okay, let's take some final questions. There are quite a number. Take them down here to start with.
Yes, how do you attract conventional banking customers towards Islamic finance? What are your unique selling points towards non-Muslims, basically?
And the person next to you? No? Okay. I think you had a shot earlier. Let's have some off the back.
Sir, my question is, what advice would you give to potential future employees like us students? How should we enter the Islamic finance system? Should we go into conventional banking, gain experience, or should we go and study Sharia? What would your advice be? Thank you.
Right. We've got... Sorry, here. Yeah.
Thank you. Well, I believe that Islamic financing is based on profit and loss sharing. So I just wanted to know that when you finance a firm, it's based on profit and loss. So I just want to know that what is the difference between the bankruptcy cost under Islamic finance and under conventional banking? Because then bankruptcy cost decides the optimal structure of a capital firm, of a firm. So I just wanted to know what's the difference between the Islamic bankruptcy cost and the Islamic finance.
Okay, up here, yes.
Hello. My main question is about the four teachings in Islam. So how does this four differences help or harm the Islamic finance industry? And what does the future hold for these differences? Thank you.
Could you repeat? I didn't understand your question.
There's four main teachings in Islam.
Huh?
Four main teachings in Islam.
You mean the madhahib?
Yeah.
Yes.
So how does these differences help or harm the industry? And what does the future hold? Thank you.
Thank you. Yes. Right up front.
Hi. My question is to Usman. Much like the Islamic banking industry, the wealth management and private banking industry has recently taken off quite a lot. You mentioned at the end of 2007 you had $500 million worth of assets under management. What fraction or percentage would you say come from ultra high net worth private clients, or what? I mean, how much comes from institutional investors, and what's the difference? Where do you get most of your market share?
Someone over here, yes.
Assalamu alaikum. My question is, what's your view on having a sort of a central regulation body, for example, the way they have it in Malaysia? Is that an idea that's going to catch on in the GCC countries?
There's someone up the back there.
Yes. Am I correct in assuming that this is mostly a Sunni-based, the typical investor is a Sunni, and as this business grows in scope and money, and as it puts more money into charity, will the Sunni Shia rift widen as a result of this?
I'm going to give this chap another bite of the cherry, as we say in English.
I was reading an historic judgment on riba by Mufti Taqi Usmani, and he said that the matter of the Islamic finance perspective towards indexation, that's something that needs to be further looked into. Could you please tell me a book or a paper I could read about the perspective on indexation? Could you highlight that yourself?
Okay, any final questions? Oh gosh. Okay, well I can see 3 hands. I can see 4 hands. Let's have 4 questions very quickly. We'll start there.
Hello, I recently visited many Islamic banks and institutions in the Middle East, and I found out that some of them would accept the concept of wa'd, promise, or double wa'd. Meanwhile, others would not consider them to be Sharia compliant. So my question is, when are we going to have a standard in the market, within the Islamic banks? Thank you.
And then right at the very back.
Assalamu alaikum. My question or comment is regarding LIBOR, use of LIBOR. In all the programs we attend, we normally get this question, and the answer is somewhat like we heard today, with a good example today. So, but every time, sometimes we are either we are explaining use of LIBOR, but even not liking it, or we are putting the responsibility to someone else, scholars or students or state. Can today someone from LSE, a student, create a blog or a group with the title of alternate of LIBOR, and then in all our programs, whenever this question comes up, we refer to that blog or group, and the comments are added there, and gradually we might find things. And on the other side, definitely as the asset market grows, we will have more Sharia-based indexes and the sukuks and assets which can be used. Because we will need an index in all the countries, not only in UK. LIBOR is in UK. We need an alternative Euribor, alternative for US. So two things should go parallel. One is the market forces. Second is the research work which we can refer. Maybe there's something already existing, but I don't know. So
okay, thanks very much. Someone down the front.
I was just wondering, I mean, a lot of the sukuks, etc., that have been issued, but also on the kind of B2C market, have been done in areas where taxation is either low or non-existent. For it to grow into, shall we say, other jurisdictions, what are the tax implications, specifically with the EU, and what complications does VAT throw into the mix?
A final question. Anyone? Oh yes, sorry, down the front. Another second bite of the chair.
Hi, yeah, thank you. I'm just wondering about Islamic finance and the environment. Are you participating in these new financial products, or are you participating in carbon trading? What do you think of the carbon market? Do you assess products in terms of their environmental impact? Thank you.
Right, okay, well, lots of questions there. Let's do a crack at that.
Okay. The first question was what can be done to attract conventional bank customers towards Islamic financing, or what is the unique selling proposition of Islamic institutions? I guess this question has 2 aspects to it. If you're talking about the financing side, then anybody who wishes to convert in his existing borrowing from conventional to Islamic would first of all be most concerned about making sure that he has continued access to capital. He's not paying more, and he's not giving more in security. And that is a general approach to structuring Islamic financing, that the customer should be no better or no worse off in terms of access to funds or ability to access other markets apart from Islamic financing in future. All the deals that we've structured generally are structured not to contravene existing covenants that they may have signed for conventional loans, so that if required, if the Islamic market is not there for some reason and somebody wishes to borrow on a non-Islamic basis, then they have the flexibility to do so, even though it's not desirable from a Sharia perspective. Pricing has now generally come to a level where it is priced in line with conventional benchmarks, because most Islamic facilities have participation from both Islamic as well as non-Islamic investors. So they have the same